Who destroyed Hong Kong badminton from the inside? That is the question we are answering today. And when you hear the full story, you will not believe that a city which hosted one of the most prestigious badminton tournaments on the entire BWF World Tour allowed its own program to be quietly suffocated from within. Here is what we are breaking down today. A federation caught between its own identity and a giant neighbor that controls everything around it. A star player forced to defend himself on social media at the Olympics because his own association failed to give him a proper jersey. A Hong Kong Open that was cancelled not once, but repeatedly, while the people running the sport made decisions that had nothing to do with badminton. And an identity crisis so deep that in December 2023, the Hong Kong Badminton Association officially changed its own name to distance itself from its own city. Chapter 1. What Hong Kong once had to understand the tragedy. You must first understand the potential. Hong Kong badminton has a history stretching back to 1934, when the Hong Kong Badminton Association was first established. For decades, the city produced players good enough to compete seriously at the international level, independent from China, competing under their own flag, representing a city with its own sporting identity and its own pride. In the 1990s, when badminton became an Olympic sport, Hong Kong sent 5 athletes to Barcelona 1992. The city's players were regularly defeating higher-ranked opponents at major international tournaments. In 2004 alone, Hong Kong athletes won 6 gold medals, 9 silver medals and 21 bronze medals across 47 international tournaments. A city of 7 million people was punching far above its weight on the global badminton stage, and then came Angkar Long Angus, the player who became the living proof that Hong Kong badminton could compete with the very best in the world. In 2015, he defeated Lin Dan, the greatest player of his generation, at the Hong Kong Open. In 2016, he became the first home player in history to win the men's singles title at the Hong Kong Open itself. He reached a career-high world ranking of number 6. He beat Qin Long. He beat Li Zijia. He beat John O'Jorgensen. He was real. He was world-class. He was everything Hong Kong badminton needed. And then the institution around him began to fall apart. Chapter 2. The Olympic jersey scandal stop. Because what happened at the Tokyo Olympics in July 2021 is one of the most embarrassing moments in the recent history of any national badminton federation. And almost nobody outside Hong Kong knows about it. Nankalong Angus walked onto the Olympic court for his opening match wearing a plain black jersey, no sponsor branding, no Bauhinia emblem, Hong Kong's official symbol, on his chest. At the Olympic Games, the most watched sporting event on earth. The reason? His association had asked apparel company Fila, the official sponsor of the Hong Kong Olympic delegation, to provide him with a uniform. The communication broke down completely. Ng arrived at the Olympics without a proper sponsored jersey. He wore his own clothes, his own plain black outfit, at the Olympic Games. And instead of the badminton world simply moving on, the incident exploded into a political firestorm. A politician from the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong publicly condemned Ng on Facebook. He said the player should withdraw if he does not want to represent Hong Kong, because Ng had chosen black, a color associated with Hong Kong's 2019 protest movement. The moment was immediately politicized. Ng was forced to post on social media to defend himself, to explain why he was wearing his own clothes at the Olympic Games. At an event where athletes are supposed to be focused entirely on competing, Hong Kong's star player was explaining a jersey to the internet. The association eventually took responsibility. They vowed to improve communication. Chapter 3. Living in China's shadow. But the jersey scandal was a symptom, not the cause. The real problem runs far deeper, and it has been building for decades. Hong Kong exists in a position unlike almost any other badminton nation on earth. It competes independently from China in international competitions, its own team, its own flag, its own federation, but it lives inside China's political and cultural orbit in every other way. And that tension between independent sporting identity and the reality of Hong Kong's relationship with mainland China has poisoned the federation's ability to make decisions that are purely about badminton. The most visible consequence of that tension came in December 2023. The Hong Kong Badminton Association, established in 1934 under that name, operating under that name for almost 90 years, officially renamed itself. It became the Badminton Association of Hong Kong, China. China added to the name after 90 years, not for sporting reasons, not for funding reasons, for political reasons that had nothing to do with a single shuttlecock or a single match. Think about what that means for the players, for the coaches, for the young athletes who grew up representing Hong Kong, proud of that identity, proud of that independence on the international stage. Chapter 4. The pipeline that never came behind the politics. There is also a sporting failure that is entirely the federation's own responsibility. Hong Kong has never won an Olympic badminton medal, not one, in over 30 years of Olympic badminton competition. The closest the city has come is Tang Chun Man and Tsai Ying Swet finishing 4th in mixed doubles at Tokyo 2020, one of the most agonizing results possible, on the podium step, looking up at 3 medals and walking away with nothing. The development pipeline for young Hong Kong players has been chronically underfunded. The Hong Kong Sports Institute, where Ang Ka Long trained, provides some support, but the resources available to Hong Kong players compared to China, Indonesia, Denmark, or even India are simply not comparable. Hong Kong players have to train harder with less, travel with less support, compete without the infrastructure that turns talented players into consistent champions. Chapter 5. The verdict. So who destroyed Hong Kong badminton from the inside? The answer is not one person and not one decision. It is the accumulated weight of an institution that was never allowed to be purely about sport. A federation caught between the demands of a political environment it could not control and the sporting ambitions it could never fully fund. An association that failed its greatest player at the Olympics with a jersey, that renamed itself for political reasons after 90 years, that watched its flagship tournament disappear for 2 consecutive years without a fight. Ang Ka Long Angus gave Hong Kong badminton everything he had. He beat Lin Dan. He won the Hong Kong Open as a home player. He reached world number 6 on talent and determination alone, without the backing that players from China, Indonesia or Denmark take for granted. He was the answer to every question Hong Kong badminton asked about its own future. But one player cannot carry a sport. Not without a federation strong enough, brave enough and independent enough to build a system around him. Hong Kong badminton was not destroyed by the competition getting better. It was destroyed by the people who were supposed to protect it, choosing politics over players, choosing compliance over courage, and choosing to add China to their name instead of adding medals to their cabinet. If this story made you feel the weight of what Hong Kong badminton has lost and what it could have been, then this channel was built for you. Subscribe to Beyond the Shuttle right now. Every week we go deeper into the real stories, the untold controversies, and the brutal truths behind the sport we all love. Hit the notification bell, share this with every badminton fan you know,